Hi, my awesome 8th graders. I am so sorry that I'm not here with you again today, but we have a wonderful substitute, so please make sure that you are respecting her even more than you would respect me. You did wonderful um, a couple days ago, and so I fully expect that you'll do just as wonderfully today. So, yesterday we started working on this penny lab, and remember the reason we're doing this is so that we can break down each of the steps of the scientific method. We can implement them. And then we're thinking big picture as we get towards the end that this is the scientific method and this is how it's run, and we're breaking down each part of it. So remember, you got to be patient as we get through the procedure today and actually running the experiment and recording the data. And then when I'm back with you, we will go ahead and analyze the data together by graphing it. So yesterday, a couple classes left off, still needing to finish up their procedure, and a couple classes left off ready to begin their experiment. So I'm going to just wrap up the procedure really quick, and you can fast forward this or ask our sub kindly to fast forward this if your class already got through this. But I am going to just go over what we said in the procedure yesterday. Okay, so let's see if we can, there we go, but that's going to be huge. So let's get this a little bit smaller. All right. Okay, so we said that number one, the first step should always be gather materials. And then you guys helped me out and you said the second step should be something like place the paper towel from our materials on the flat surface. Okay. And then we said something like fill the beaker with water from the faucet. And then you guys helped me out and we said place the penny, and remember I said it needs to either be heads or tails. It needs to be consistent the whole time. So I don't care what you choose as long as you choose one. So I'm just going to say place the penny heads up on top of the paper towel. Okay. And then step 5 was something like fill the pipette with water from the beaker. And some of us combined these two steps and some of them didn't. Let's see if I can get this smaller so you guys can read it all. Maybe not. There we go. Now we're talking. All right. Now some of us made step 5 and 6 together, but it's okay if we didn't. For a step or two off, no big deal. Number 6 was hold the ruler vertically. Remember that means up or down. Next to the penny. And then we said we are going to hold our dropper, or pipette, I should say, use the same words, at 3 centimeters, dropping drips of water at a constant speed, as constant as you can get, and size onto the penny. Then our next step, and some of us didn't quite get this far, the next step would be how are we going to count these drops of water? So we said we are going to count each drop of water until, because I asked what was the stopping point, the water bubble on the penny breaks. but I asked you guys if that last drop counts or not, because did the penny really hold that last drop? And we decided no. So what we're going to do is subtract 1 drop and record that number in our data table. All right. We're not quite done yet because we have this at 3 centimeters, but we decided that we need at least 3 different heights, and we're going to run 3 trials for each height because the minimum amount of trials that we want in a good experiment is 3. So we have to repeat this. And we said we don't need to rewrite the whole procedure. We can just say repeat steps 6 and 7 for, or you could say at 6 centimeters and 9 centimeters. Okay. Still not quite done. We want to make sure that we clean up all materials. Please make sure that when you clean up your materials, they get put back where they came from and you're leaving the room even nicer than when you came into it. So that should wrap up the procedure. So if you need to pause here and write that down, or if you were gone yesterday, remember you should know where the extra copies are. If I forgot to put them in this in the correct spot at the left of the room, then they might still be on my desk. And then we are going to move on to our data table. So some classes got the data table written down and some didn't. So let's go ahead and write down what the data table should look like. Okay, so I said yesterday that the data table should include our independent variable and our dependent variable. So that's what we want to be recording. And we want to make sure that we have room for all 3 trials at all different heights. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start my height, and then, oops, this one's not going to let me tab. I'm also going to record the number, sorry, one second. This is a little bit different than I've done before. The number of drops held on the penny at 3 centimeters, the number of drops held on the penny at 6 centimeters, and also the number of drops held on the penny at 9 centimeters. Okay, so there I have that. I'm going to make one more text box. I could just say number of drops held too. I'm going to do that so I don't confuse you. All right. Now down the side, I am going to write the height. So here I have 3 centimeters. I'm going to have 6 centimeters. And I'm going to have 9 centimeters. And up here, I should have said trial 1, trial 2, and trial 3. Okay. So now I'm just going to make this look a little bit more like a table. And you can draw lines, which I'm sure will be straighter than mine because I'm drawing with a trackpad, and you guys will at least be able to freehand it better, hopefully. Okay. And so here's where I'm going to, as I run my experiment, record my data. All right. Remember, the other thing that I said is this is our quantitative data. These are our numbers that we're going to be writing in. we want to make sure that you're writing any qualitative data down too. And you guys agreed with me that some qualitative data that we might want to write down are observations about the penny. Was there anything funny about the penny? You might want to write down if you made a mistake and you needed to add an additional trial. You might want to write down if you're using a different lab partner, which you shouldn't unless you have extenuating circumstances or something like that. Maybe someone got called out of the room so they couldn't finish dropping and someone else had, the other lab partner had to complete the drops, okay? That would be an extenuating circumstance. So you would want to write those qualitative observations down, and you're just going to freehand that in that space that you have. Now, I'm going to give just a couple of random pieces of data. I did not run this. I'm just using these for example so that we can take an average, okay? So let's say at 3 centimeters, I got 16 drops, I got 14 drops, and then I got 15 drops, okay, for my first, second, and third trials. When you guys record your data as a class, I'm going to ask for the average, okay? And so if you want to add over here there we go, a column for average, that would be very helpful for you. So what you're going to do to find the average is you're going to add up all of the numbers of drops at this height, so all of the trials, and then you're going to divide them by the number of trials you have. So I'm literally going to do 16 plus 14 plus 15, and that, if I do the math, is going to give me 45. And then to find the average, I have to divide that number by the total number of trials, so 1, 2, 3. So 45 divided by 3 is going to give me the average of 15 drops at 3 centimeters. Okay? If we needed another example, maybe at 6 centimeters, it was 10 and 12 and 8. So to find the average at 6 centimeters, I would do 10 plus 12 plus 8 is going to give me 30. How many trials did I do? I did 3. So then I divide it by 3. The total amount that you're adding up, so 3 trials, and that's going to give me an average of 10 drops at 6 centimeters. Okay, once you do that for all 3 heights, when you guys are totally done, you are going to have one group member, only one group member. So I only want the data per group. You are going to go on Google Classroom under Lesson Recordings, and you are going to see that I have given you a link for a Google Sheet, okay? So you'll go ahead and click on this Google Sheet, and it'll look like this, okay? And I have 15 rows for hour 1, hour 2, hour 3, hour 4, and hour 7. If we don't use all of them, that's fine, but that's the maximum amount of groups we would have in each class. It doesn't matter what group you are as long as you're using the same row across, okay? So say I'm in hour 1 and my group got done first, I would go ahead and I would take my averages, only the averages, and put them right here. So at 3, I said it was 15. At 6, I said it was 10. I would find the average at 9 and put that in there. And then you can clean up, and my hope is that I will see you tomorrow. Have an awesome day.